Welcome to the second podcast of this series brought to you by Physical and Health Education Canada that outlines important education principles that support teachers to foster the development of physical literacy among students. My name is Ishan Angra, and I will be the host for today's podcast. The podcast was developed by the Centre for Healthy Development through Sport and Physical Activity at Brock University, located in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on behalf of PHE Canada and Sport Canada. Individuals who are physically literate move with competence in a wide variety of physical activities that benefit the development of the whole person. Quality physical education programs provide one of the most effective ways to foster the development of physical literacy amongst children and youth. Over the next several months, we will be examining various teaching strategies that educators should consider when fostering the development of physical literacy amongst their students. Using the acronym EDUCATION, we will examine one teaching strategy per podcast that highlights important pedagogical strategies that can help teachers implement a quality physical education program with physical literacy in mind. In today's podcast, the D in education will be our focus. In the education acronym, the D stands for diversity. As the definition of physical literacy stresses, an individual must be able to move with competence across a wide variety of physical activities. The importance of diversity in fostering the development of physical literacy is stressed by both PHE Canada and Sport Canada. In 2000, PHE Canada, then called CAFERD, identified the importance of diversity in the delivery of quality physical education programs. They stressed that a quality physical education program consists of a balanced, planned, and meaningful content. Canada's long-term athlete development plan also stresses the importance of participation in a diverse number of physical activities. This sport policy stresses that children and youth should develop a wide variety of fundamental and sport skills that will enable them to move competently across a number of different forms of physical activity. Children and youth who specialize too early often burn out and either drop out of sport or become physically inactive altogether. The importance of exposing children and youth to a diverse number of physical activities has been stressed by Canadian researcher Dr. Jean Cote from Queen's University for a number of years. As outlined in a recent article in the Physical and Health Education Journal, Cote and his colleagues stressed the benefits of children and youth taking part in a number of different sports and physical activities. He has coined this as sampling. Findings outlined by Cote in his research paper demonstrated that when children and youth sample from a number of different sports and physical activities, they reap many benefits. One such benefit is the promotion of lifelong engagement in physical activity. Cote suggests that sampling is associated with prolonged engagement in sport and physical activity, as it tends to provide more enjoyable physical activity experiences and lower incidences of overuse injuries. Cote also highlights several psychosocial benefits of participating in diverse forms of physical activities. Children and youth who sample different types of physical activity are more likely to develop positive life skills such as time management, communication, and leadership skills. Sampling different types of activities has also been linked to more positive prosocial behaviors from children and youth. By taking part in a number of different forms of physical activity, children soon develop an appreciation for multiple sets of norms, which enables them to see the world through a multitude of perspectives. This in turn helps prevent conflict between individuals. A third psychosocial benefit outlined by Cote and his colleagues is that sampling stimulates healthy identity development. Identity research indicates that exploration and experimentation with multiple roles and identities throughout their development assists children and youth in achieving an identity congruent with one's true self. Hence, by exposing children to a multitude of different roles in diverse forms of physical activity, a positive sense of self can be developed. Sampling can also be a healthy way to foster positive social development. By taking part in a number of different sports outside of the physical education environment, children have an opportunity to make new friends and to be more actively engaged with others across their community. Finally, Cote points to research that suggests that adolescents who are involved in a variety of extracurricular activities such as sports, volunteerism, and the arts often score higher on measures of academic achievement. As a result of these benefits, Cote and colleagues recommend that exposure to diverse types of physical activities during physical education is critical to not only lifelong participation, but also upon their physical, social, and cognitive development as well. The importance of a diverse physical education program is also highlighted by other Canadian scholars. In the Canadian edition of Dynamic Physical Education for Elementary School Children, Dr. Sandra Gimmons, a professor at the University of Victoria and co-author of the book, highlights the importance of diversity when developing curriculum for physical education programs. Also, Dr. David Chorney from the University of Alberta has also recently developed a website called phys-ed-source.com that contains activity suggestions across individual, game, dance, gymnastics, outdoors, and aquatic categories. Such textbooks and websites, written and designed by Canadian scholars, are critical in providing resources and ideas for teachers to create a physical education program that consists of diverse types of physical activities. Despite the benefits of exposing children and youth to a diversity of physical activities, most physical education programs only expose their students to games. In a worldwide review sponsored by the World Health Organization, Hardman and Marshall reported that games dominate physical education programs. Although the type and number of games were not reported, children in primary school are exposed to games 3 times more often than the next most common form of physical activity, gymnastics and athletics, and 8 times more often than swimming and dance. The percentages are similar when comparing exposure to different forms of physical activity at the secondary level. A Canadian study from Alberta also showed similar results. Teachers from across the province reported a high level of exposure to games at all grade levels compared to other forms of physical activity. While games tended to dominate almost half of the PE program, the other half of the program was shared by gymnastics, outdoor pursuits, dance, individual activities, and aquatics. To encourage diversity, several provincial organizations have created resources that assist teachers in developing lesson plans, unit plans, and yearly plans for diverse forms of physical activity. One organization is the Ontario Physical and Health Education Association, or OPHEA, who have created lesson plan binders for each grade to coincide with the curriculum expectations of the health and physical education curriculum in Ontario. This figure is an example of the unit plans that exist for elementary grades. Units representing fitness, athletics, games, gymnastics, and dance are spread out throughout the year to ensure that students are exposed to a quality physical education program that is diverse and fosters the development of physical literacy. In the following video, a number of both traditional and non-traditional activities are included as a way to visualize what a diverse physical education program might look like.
Examples of diverse activities. The following clips show a variety of activities that can be used to foster physical literacy. Aerobics is a good example of a fitness activity that can be used in the classroom. Games. An example is wheelchair basketball. In the clips, a progression of skill development can be seen leading up to the culminating game. See Pack-Takra. Using non-traditional games is another way of promoting diverse physical activities. Equipment and rules should be modified to match student skill level. Dance is a fun way of introducing diversity into the classroom. When teaching dance, it is beneficial to break the sequence into blocks, as well as mastering the steps prior to introducing the music. Basic movement skills can be introduced using gymnastics. The weight room provides another venue for introducing fitness activities. Exemplar activity plans are available to download on the Developing Physical Literacy website.
In summary, diversity is critical in the development of physical literacy. For children and youth to be active for a lifetime, they need to draw upon a repertoire of physical activity skills and experiences. A quality physical education program should provide them with this opportunity, as it provides equal and equitable access to diversity of physical activities. As a result, yearly plans that contain units across a wide variety of physical activities and that change from year to year are important. It is also important that these yearly plans provide for a well-balanced program that includes games, gymnastics, dance, individual activities, outdoor activities, and fitness activities. And finally, always participating in the same traditional activities is not enough to foster the development of physical literacy. Children and youth should be exposed to many activities that are new and non-traditional. This not only expands their repertoire of activities in which they can participate, but also creates an opportunity to understand the diversity of customs and cultures, which makes Canada so unique. Our next podcast is devoted to strategies to foster understanding. In that podcast, we will examine the Teaching Games for Understanding model, which has become a common model in the delivery of physical education curriculum across Canadian provinces, and will examine its strong connection to the development of physical literacy.